Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll take a closer look at the new ICE processing facility and detention center set for the city of Surprise. Also tonight, the 30th anniversary of the Greater Phoenix Jewish Film Festival kicks off later this week. And a new book examines how to unlock the body's own power to recover from injuries and chronic conditions. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The Department of Homeland Security is set to convert a massive warehouse in Surprise into an immigration processing center with 1,500 beds. But many residents of Surprise and even some city officials not pleased with the government's plans. Here with more on the legal issues surrounding these detention centers is Attorney Delia Salvatierra from the Salvatierra Law Group. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, is this a done deal?
It is. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution allows the federal government to come in and use land in any way that it sees fit, that is lawful. And since the federal government has plenary power over immigration, it can certainly use it as a detention center as it plans to do so.
So a processing center, facility and detention center, what does all that mean?
Well, let's be clear, they haven't made any announcement in particular. We're just speculating at this point. They are calling it a processing center. And the closest thing we have here in Arizona to understand what that will look like is the Florence Processing Center in Florence, Arizona. It is a facility owned and operated by the Department of Homeland Security, and it is where approximately 1,000 individuals are detained at any given time. And it is run by the Department of Homeland Security. And inside that facility, there is an immigration court that is solely for those that are detained at that facility.
But we don't know for sure if this will be more, if Surprise will be similar or lesser or even more involved, do we?
We don't. There has been absolutely no transparency by the Department of Homeland Security in even working with local partners here in Surprise to discuss why they bought it in our own backyard without, sitting down with local leaders. Even Representative Gosart was surprised by this facility, and rightly so. Normally, the federal government doesn't swoop in and usurp a state voice in these kinds of matters. They take the state into consideration, especially local partners.
And this was purchased by the government for, what, $70-some-odd million in cash?
It was $70 million. They have an open budget, I guess, a very large budget available to them, and they needed to spend the money in order to be able to keep it.
And we're looking at it right now. This is 4 miles. 4 miles from City Hall. This is an area where homes are relatively close by. I mean, how does that happen?
It happens without communication and transparency. And I think one of the most, difficult things to swallow about this is that usually conservatives have always applauded less centralized power in the federal government, a smaller federal government, and a more stronger states' rights. And I think this plan and the way that they went about to acquire this property for this purpose without any state involvement decries basic conservative values.
You mentioned no state involvement, no local involvement. Is there any recourse? What can state and local officials do if they're not happy with it?
I think that it's going to take communities to show up at council meetings like they did this past week at the Surprise City Council and demand that the Department of Homeland Security sit at the table with them. I mean, they're going to be using our roads. They're going to be, more people are going to be coming to Arizona for this. I hope that the Department of Homeland Security finds at least not necessarily the local leaders of ICE, but certainly headquarters in Washington, D.C., find a way to communicate with the local community.
But what kind of contracts are we talking about here? Because this was sold by a private entity, I believe, to the federal government. You've got a sale. I'm assuming the sale is beyond pending. I think it's the sale, or is it? Or can this you can't pull this out, can you?
No, this is a supremacy clause under the Constitution. The government has all the authority to supplant state local zoning and land use rights.
All right, let's talk about the legal concerns regarding folks who will wind up, if this goes according to plan, at this facility.
This is a massive undertaking of individuals, massive. 1,500 bed is huge. So it could either be one of two things or two things at the same time. One for individuals that they plan on detaining in Arizona, or because Arizona is so close to the border, bringing other people from other states as a processing center, as a hub before they are removed from the United States to other countries.
What happened to the agreement with local jails? Are the jails just not enough room? Is that the idea?
Well, local jails were never meant to house immigrants for DHS. The agreement has always been a 287G agreement,
yes,
which is similar to what Pinal did, which is to cross-deputize their sheriffs so that they can enforce immigration laws, but ultimately transfer them to the custody of DHS, not to detain them, because they can't be detained in local jails on a civil immigration offense.
So far, from what you've understood and what you've heard, and I know you've heard a lot here, who are the people that are being, down in Florence and Eloy, who are the people that are being detained that will likely be detained at this facility?
It will be non-citizen, non-criminal aliens. The majority of the individuals that are detained by the Department of Homeland Security include people who've never committed a crime, people who have already been vetted and have work authorization or work visas. They are pending a benefit from other branches within the Department of Homeland Security, and ICE has decided, and I don't mean just here in Arizona, but nationwide, to detain those individuals because they're not citizens.
With that in mind, obviously we've seen protests around the country. We've seen protests here in Arizona. Again, for a facility like this, you need infrastructure, you need all sorts of security. Is this basically federally protected? Is this basically like an Army base or something, a federal facility in the middle of Surprise?
Yes, it is. And security will be handled by a private contractor that will come in under contract with the Department of Homeland Security and handle it.
You mentioned Representative Gosar, Congressman Gosar. It was a little surprising to see him come out as strong as he did. It seems like he wants answers. He wants to know why no one knows about this thing until it's a done deal.
Well, it's a done deal. He should know he's in Congress. And number two, it's okay for it to be somewhere else, but not in his backyard. So I was very surprised that he did not, A, know anything about it, and B, that he was against it because of the lack of transparency. But there's nothing he can do or anyone can do now that the sale has gone forward.
Yeah. Do we know any kind of a time frame, anything at all?
That I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it would be quick, but the Department of Homeland Security did get Alligator Alcatraz up fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. I think this looks a much more formidable facility than Alligator Alcatraz ever was. But I would say that it would be operating within a year, and they would roll it out in phases, meaning 500 people at a time, until they can phase in 1,500, because it's not just the people, it's the resources that go into it and the massive hiring of new ICE agents that would have to run that place.
Real quickly before we go, we're running out of time here, but around the country, some of these facilities have been approved and then they back off because the local pressure has been enough to make DHS change his mind. You see anything like that happening here?
I do not.
All right, we'll stop right there. Delia, good job. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Good
Thank you for having me.
The U.S. carried out large-scale strikes on Venezuela
to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
The dramatic fall of the Venezuelan president.
In the immediate aftermath of Maduro's capture, there was a huge void in power.
And the uncertain future.
Tuesday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
I like to think that at Arizona Horizon we are unique in the way that we present information, public policy, sometimes news, these sorts of things, because we have conversations. And I don't want conversations, that human interaction, to go out of style. And I hope with Arizona Horizon it never goes out of style.
Arizona Horizon needs your support. Donate now and double the impact of your gift thanks to the James and Barbara Ratcliffe Charitable Fund Challenge. Thank you.
Mammals. From bizarre beginnings.
We had the very earliest ancestors of mammals.
How did we evolve and escape extinction?
This was the closest life has ever come to completely dying out.
Mammal Origins on Nova.
Wednesday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
The Greater Phoenix Jewish Film Festival kicks off this week, celebrating its 30th anniversary. The festival looks to showcase compelling and thought-provoking films that, among other things, seek to build bridges at this time of conflict in the world. Joining us now is Niles Gratis. He's the festival's artistic director. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
30 years.
Yes, 30 years. In 30 years, we've screened 1,200 films to bring it down to the 425 we actually showed.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, what is the mission of the festival?
The mission is to bring Jewish-related or themed films into the Valley that people can relate to, but you don't have to be Jewish to enjoy them because most of the films have universal themes which should resonate and be meaningful to everybody.
Inspire conversation, build bridges, as we mentioned.
Build bridges, inspire conversation, learn about culture, history, and connections to one another.
Define, if you will, a Jewish film.
Well, that's a good question because there are a lot of attributes that could make up a Jewish film. It's very subjective, very subjective. In fact, we have a formula to select our films. It seems kind of simplistic, but it's EV plus JC equals JFF, which means entertainment value should be high, Jewish connection should be strong, and once we put those two things together, we'll have a film for our festival.
Do you ever have big on one, not so big on the other, it's out of here?
Do we ever have any flops?
Yes.
Never in the history of 30 years have we had a flop.
Okay, very
Maybe
good.
one or two.
All right, let's get to some of the films this year, and we're going to start with one that's titled Once Upon My Mother, based on a true story.
It's based on the true story of a woman and her son in Paris in 1970. She is a force to be reckoned with in terms of nurturing, maternal nurturing. She has a son who has a club foot, and she fights tooth and nail to make sure that her son has every possibility for a normal and fulfilling life.
Very involved mother here, judging from the clip.
That's exactly right. She's a force to be reckoned with, and a mother I will never forget in terms of all the films I've seen.
Interesting. And this was chosen because?
Because of the intensity and the love of the mother to the son. And there's also Sylvia Vartan, a famous French singer. She motivates the two of them. She'll appear in the film. And I recommend you see it because the mother is unforgettable.
Very good, very good. And it looks good there. All right, we have another one called I Had the Heart.
I Had the Heart. It's about a kind of down-and-out record rock producer in Argentina. He's trying to resurrect his business, and he's looking around for talent. He stumbles on a garage mechanic who sings tango music. Can he build him up to a star and at the same time deal with his divorced wife as they're putting together a very expensive bar mitzvah, which he cannot afford?
That's a lot of strings going there. And from what I understand, the tango singer, he's a stuttering tango singer.
He's a stuttering tango singer, right. In the beginning of the film, before the film, we'll have someone to connect Jewish traditional music with tango music, and afterwards we're having 4 classical guitar players, live performance of tango music.
That's very cool. Now, do you do that with a lot of the films, have something, presentations afterwards?
Well, we normally have speakers, but this is the first time in a long time we've had live music.
Very
right
good.
Afterwards, yes.
That should be great. All right, the next one is The Ring, and it sounds like it's a search for a ring.
The Ring, a mother and her young son in Nazi Germany escape going to the concentration camps because she bribes a Nazi official with her wedding ring. Years later, the son is grown, takes his daughter back to Budapest. Their mission is to find the ring, bring the ring back in time for the mother who is experiencing her last days.
Generational story, obviously.
Exactly right.
Based on a true story.
Based on, this one is a drama, not based on a true story.
It's not based, okay, I thought it was based on a true story.
Right.
Again, this one chosen because?
Because of the connection, the generational connection between the people.
Yeah, yeah, all right. Our last one is titled Everything's Kosher, and this one's a documentary. Do you have many documentaries?
We have plenty of documentaries, more dramas than documentaries. We have docudramas and comedies. But Everything's Kosher, a story about a man in Chicago, a businessman. He's divorced. and he wants to leave his business to go to Germany to be with his daughter, who lives with his ex-wife. What is he going to do there? He's going to try and open up a kosher Jewish deli in the heart of where they had Kristallnacht next to an old concentration camp. So the question is, will he survive? Will they have a happy ending with the corned beef on rye, or will it be a failure?
Subtitle is Peace, Love, and Pastrami.
There you go.
Yeah. And a lot of family issues here. That's, again, a major reason for this film being chosen.
Exactly right. And for people who love pastrami.
Yeah. All right, well, we're on there. We mentioned 30 years. How did this festival start?
The festival started, there were 3 small festivals. They were shown in JCCs and synagogues, and over the years they melded together. And now we have a force of 50 screeners and 5 committees who screen the films, and then we filter down the films down to the gems of the 28 that we're going to have this season.
Is it easier or more difficult when times are tough, when the world is a bit of a boiling point here?
Well, we sort of do handsprings when we have a film that's funny and lighthearted.
Yes.
So there are more serious films, and we have a very good mixture of both serious and lighthearted films.
All right, dates and times, where to get information?
You can go to www.gpjff.org to get information. It's an acronym for Greater Phoenix Jewish Film Festival.org.
All right, very good. Niles Gratis, again, Artistic Director of the festival. It's good to see you again.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the movies. Thank you.
A new book looks at ways the body can heal itself faster and more completely by way of daily habits, nutrition, and stress management. The book is titled Heal Faster, Unlock Your Body's Rapid Recovery Reflex. And the author is Dr. Victoria Maizes. She's the founding executive director of the U of A's Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine. Welcome to Arizona Horizon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, good to have you here. Okay, so this book is based on the body basically having innate healing mechanisms. Explain, please.
Absolutely. I think we mostly don't pay attention, but we've all had this experience. Say you cut your finger, you get a little paper cut. The finger may get red, a little warm, maybe a little tender, and then 2 days later, the cut is gone. What happened? Well, your body did what it needed to do to heal that little wound. Same thing when we catch a cold. We may be miserable for a day or 2 or 3, and then it's gone. Well, your immune system popped in, doing what it needs to do to fight that viral infection, and then you're well again. So we have this innate ability, we just don't always think about it.
You call it a rapid recovery reflex. What is that, and what kind of conditions? I mean, it's one thing for a paper cut, but if you got for the flu or a bad cold or something like that, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah, well, the recovery reflex are really all of the physiological mechanisms that you have, whether it's your immune system or your nervous system or your metabolism, all the ways in which your body knows how to bring you back to homeostasis. And I gave simple examples, but actually it's constantly working. For example, you eat a really rich meal, your blood sugar goes up. What brings it back down? You have the pancreas secreting insulin, you take a walk and your muscles absorb some of that blood sugar. So we just don't necessarily pay enough attention, but this is part of our human body.
Yeah, we take it for granted, don't we?
I think so.
Yeah, and the book says start paying attention here. And I found it fascinating, the idea of inflammation, because inflammation is a pretty big boogeyman right now in a variety of ways, especially when it comes to cancer and all sorts of other things. You have some interesting ideas regarding inflammation.
Yes, so you're right. Inflammation is at the root cause of many diseases we never knew, whether that's heart disease or, as you said, cancer, maybe Alzheimer's disease. Even depression may have inflammation as part of its etiology. But that's more chronic inflammation. Acutely, in the short term, inflammation is part of your body's healing system. So when I mentioned that cut finger, the redness, the swelling, the tenderness, that's inflammation. That's your body moving more blood to the area, makes it a little swollen, a little warmer. It brings in white blood cells. It brings in cytokines. That inflammation is part of the acute ability that leads the body to heal.
So is it wrong to take an Advil or two when you turn your ankle or you bump your elbow? And I mean, what do you think?
You're absolutely right. And that's not well known. You know, we used to tell people, okay, you twisted your ankle, you have an ankle sprain, take an Advil, take something like that, an anti-inflammatory medicine. But we actually now know that that impairs your body's rapid recovery reflex. It gets in the way of recovering. So we have changed our advice. We now tell people to avoid those anti-inflammatories and let the body do its healing work.
But are there levels? Can you go so far with this? I mean, there have to be conditions and certain situations where you got to get that inflammation down, or you have to attack whatever's happening to you, if anything, goose the body a little bit here and tell your body, get in action, because this is painful and is probably damaging.
So you're right, and it is nuanced. For example, one of the problems we have in our society is an epidemic of chronic pain and people taking opioids. It turns out that when people have, for example, a low back injury, now that often is accompanied by that acute inflammation. The people who took the anti-inflammatories had double the risk of chronic back pain as the people who avoided that and used other ways to help manage the pain. It could be heat, it could be ice, it could be a TENS unit, it could be physical therapy. There are many other strategies. Anti-inflammatories may not be our friend in the initial stages of healing.
But and you're talking especially the chronic aspect. But if I got to go to work tomorrow and I've wrenched my back, something's got to be done here, doctor.
I agree with you. We are changing our minds about what that something is.
Wow. All right. Let's talk about surgery.
Yeah.
Prior to surgery, post-surgery.
Right.
Where does all this fit in?
Right. So I have a whole section in the book about what you can do to prepare for surgery. And I think there are things you could do physically. So for example, say you're having a knee replacement or hip replacement. Miraculous. But maybe because you've had pain in that knee or hip, you haven't been walking, you haven't been doing your exercise because it hurts, and you've lost some muscle strength. Now you're going to have surgery, and it's going to be more important than ever that you really get up and start moving, do your physical therapy. So getting the appropriate exercises to strengthen that muscle before surgery and know what you're going to do after. Some people going into surgery are malnourished. We want to make sure they get their protein, that they get their vitamins and minerals. There are tests we can do to see where that stands.
As far as anxiety, mental issues,
Correct.
Where does that fit in?
Right. Well, most of us, if we know we're going to have surgery, do feel a little bit anxious. And so there are things we can do, from breathing exercises to guided imagery to social support. You know, having someone who loves us, who accompanies us to our visit and drives us to the hospital. All of those things make a difference as well.
What do you think about supplements?
I actually am a fan of supplements.
How do you know which supplement to? I mean, you go to the drugstore. There's a
Right,
shelf of them. Some of them
right.
have to be better than others, don't they?
They are. They're not all created alike. So one, ask advice from an integrative medicine doctor or a naturopathic medicine doctor. They know the supplements. They'll be able to help direct you. Two, look on the label for USP or NSF. USP stands for United States Pharmacopoeia. They only put that label on good quality brands. So that is another step. You got to do some homework before you go to the store to make sure that you're getting something that is of good quality.
All right. Wow, doctor, a lot to think about here. Dr. Victoria Mages. The book is Heal Faster, Check Your Body's Rapid, Unlocking Your Body's Rapid Recovery Reflex. Really interesting stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And that's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening. Thank you.
When you want to be more inspired, Arizona PBS delivers unforgettable experiences in music, theater, and the arts, thanks to members like you. And
Primavera Online School now offers kindergarten through 5th grade with a project-based curriculum, digital learning activities, and small group instruction. To learn more, visit chooseprimavera.com.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow in Savannah, Georgia. Treasures come in all shapes and sizes.
This is the first time I've seen a landscape painting by Ernie.
Everybody says wow, but wow.
Don't miss Antiques Roadshow, Georgia State Railroad Museum, Hour 3.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Catherine Anaya, host of Horizonte. Have you signed up for the Arizona PBS Conexión e-newsletter? Visit azpbs.org/Conexión to subscribe to the monthly resource created to serve Arizona's vital